Hello, my name is Kaylee. I am the lead business consultant at Hibou. We're a gold level Odoo partner located in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. Today we're going to be talking about return merchandise authorizations. So if you are providing goods to customers at any point, there's a good chance that you're going to need to handle a refund or a return situation. And RMAs are the process through which you handle those. So we're going to be going through things pretty quickly because RMAs is a huge subject and we only have 10 minutes. So if I go a little too fast, never fear, this is all documented on our website, hibou.io/docs. So we'll go ahead and get started here. So the RMA app is part of the Hibou Odoo Suite, which is an open source project. So this application is available today through our GitHub repository for versions 10 and versions 11. We'll pop this open. The first place we're going to go is we're going to go to the configuration of templates. So the RMA application is template driven. The reason being for this is really threefold. So one, you don't really want agents, CS agents, or whoever's handling your returns to need to make up the process for a return every single time they do one. Two, if you use the stock functionality out of Odoo to do returns, you could run into a few problems. For example, if you do your return picking and forget to click that little indicator to decrement the sale order, then you process your picking, you're in a bit of a pickle at that point. So you've processed your return picking, but you haven't modified the sale order at all. And then beyond that, if you ship from multiple locations, so if you have warehouse A and warehouse B, but you only do returns out of warehouse B, if you ship something out of warehouse A, then when you go to process that return, you don't have the option to return it to warehouse B. So looking at a template, this first one we have is fairly simple. We have a name. This is a name that allows a CS agent to quickly tell what the template applies to, what type of return. Then we have applies to. We have it set for sale order, and I don't think we'll have time to go through it today. There is also the option to apply it to a stock picking. You may choose to apply it to a stock picking if, say, you were going to do a return to vendor for goods you received from a vendor that were damaged. You don't have a sale order for that, but you can apply it to a stock picking in that case. Expires in days. So this comes into play in a couple of places. One is going to be when we talk about prepaid shipping labels. The link for the shipping label will expire once it's past this days indicator. And then beyond that, you can also use this as a variable in your emails to inform the customer what their time frame is for making the return. We have the option here to create an inbound picking and or an outbound picking. In this case, we're only creating inbound picking, so we're just going to get the return back. Inbound picking type is receipts, it's going to be incoming, and these are probably pretty self-explanatory, but the source location is customer, it's coming from a customer, and then the destination location is our returns warehouse, because we may want to, after we receive the product, evaluate it and then decide whether we can scrap it or whether we want to put it back in stock to sell it again. Inbound carrier, I'm going to leave blank because the customer could choose any carrier to return it to us, but this will come back into play when we go through another template type. Inbound require return of picking. If this is selected, it will try to find a picking and duplicate it. If it's not selected, it'll just create a new picking. So the importance of this is if it finds one to duplicate, then it prevents you from returning more than were delivered on that picking. Inbound procurement method, we have this set to take from stock. You also have the option to apply procurements. Just keep note that procurements are very company and configuration specific. So just when you use that, be sure you're really aware of how your procurements are set up so you know what the behavior should look like. And then inbound mark refunds. So this is going to decrement our sale order once we process this, the inbound picking, so that way we can then create a refund invoice for the customer. Down here, we have two additional tabs, internal instructions. I'm gonna increase the size of this a little bit. Internal instructions, this is what the CS agents or the agents processing the returns will see when they select this template type. This is good for letting them know when they should be using this template and what their process is internally. And then on customer instructions, this can be inserted into email templates as well. And that way, when you email the customer to let them know that their return has been authorized, you can also indicate what their next steps are to proceed with the return. So we'll go and we'll create an RMA. We'll select our type. We only have the one currently, so that's pretty straightforward, but we'll select return. We see that the expiration date is set to our 30 days in advance, so this is going to be good until November 3rd. We also get a new drop down because of our type, and this is for sale order. So we'll select our sale order. Partner and shipping partner are automatically filled in from the sale order. And we also have the option to add tags to provide a little bit more detail about why this return is taking place. So you can always filter and group and report on those later. So this is going to be a remorse return. The customer just decided they didn't want it anymore. When we selected our type, we also saw our internal instructions fill in. So this is an immediate indicator to the person creating the RMA if they've selected the right template and if they should proceed. Click Add Lines. This is going to present us with a pop-up modal that shows us all the product lines on the order. We also see the ordered quantity, delivered quantity, and invoice quantity. So this is a good gut check time for if you're trying to return something, the customer says they want to return something. If you haven't delivered it, you probably should not be trying to return it. We're going to go ahead and return one of our almond biscottis and go ahead and add that line. You can save it. Saving it doesn't create your inbound pickings. No inbound pickings or outbound pickings are created until you hit the confirm button. If you hit the confirm button and then immediately go, I chose the wrong type, that's okay. You can cancel it, you can change your type, and then you can resave and confirm it. So when we confirmed it, we generated an inbound picking for the return. At this point, we could also send a message to our customer, go ahead and use the return template and send that out to them. This is just telling them their RMA number, what order it's associated with, and then our internal instructions, as well as how long this RMA is valid for. So when we receive the receipt of the return item, we can hop on over to the picking for it. We had a quick link there right from the RMA. And we can go ahead and validate. Of course, if you had serial numbers or additional details you need to add, you would process this, and that way you would pop up your detailed operations modal, enter your serial number, all that good stuff before you validate it. If we take a look at the sale order now, we'll see that we have a line that's ready to invoice. It's ready to invoice because our ordered quantities and our delivered quantities no longer match because we indicated that we wanted to mark this for refund. So if we create our invoice now, it'll be in the to invoice status. That's your first clue. You need to do something with it. And then when you create and view the invoice, it's going to create the refund invoice for you. That's a simple RMA. Let's go ahead and take a look at something a little bit more complicated. So it's not uncommon to also have a situation where maybe you ship something to a customer and when it arrived it was damaged or dead on arrival or something like that. So in that case, the customer needs to return the product to you sometimes. Maybe you just let them keep it, but if it's a high value product, you probably want it to be returned to you, and then you need to ship them a replacement. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate this template, make a defective swap template. Everything about our inbound picking is going to stay the same with the exception of our inbound carrier. So our inbound carrier is one that we've created specifically for this purpose. If we pop it open and take a look at this, the whole point of this carrier is that it has been configured to print on a 8.5 by 11 PDF. It's essentially creating a prepaid shipping label for the customer to slap on the box and send it back to you because it's not their fault that it arrived damaged, and so they really shouldn't pay the return shipping if that's your company policy. So that's how we have it configured. Normal piece of paper, PDF, because oftentimes customers will not have a thermal printer that can decode a UPL label. All right, we're also going to create our outbound picking. This time it's going to be a delivery order. It's going to come from our stock location and go to our customers. Our outbound carrier, we're going to set this to hold. I'm only going to look at this for just a moment. The important thing is that it is set up to use a carrier with an integration, but we haven't filled in the credentials, so they'll receive a user error if they try to ship this particular transfer until the carrier is changed. The reason you might want to do that is because the pickings are generated immediately upon confirmation, but you may not want to send out the replacement until the customer has provided some sort of proof, good faith effort, and they're returning the product to you. We could also change our internal and customer instructions at this point, but we don't have time for that. So now that we have our template set up, we'll create another RMA. We're going to choose our defective swap. This should all look pretty familiar at this point. We'll select our sale order and reply a tag. Then we'll add our lines. So at this point, we're going to return our chocolate chip cookies. When we've added lines and saved this, you'll notice that we have a smart button that appears. This smart button is a quick link to a list of all RMAs that are related to this sale order. And the reason why you might want this is a quick visual indication. If you have several RMAs open for a customer, somebody may have accidentally created a duplicate one because they didn't realize one of their associates already created one. When we confirm this, we receive two pickings, our inbound and our outbound picking. Like I said, we want to send a prepaid shipping label to this customer. So we'll click this generate label button. This is going to put a URL right up here. And of course, we could copy and paste this to our heart's content, but who wants to do that when you have email templates? So we'll select this and we'll send it off to our customer. And if we take a look at this label, then what we have is we've created a shipping label that is coming from the customer's address, and then it's to the location to which we're going to process the return. So this is really easy. They just print it off, they put it on the box, drop it off at the carrier, and send it back to you. All right, and then once they've provided evidence or let you know that they've dropped off with the carrier, at this point you can change the carrier for the outbound to something that the inventory folks will actually be looking to ship, so something like a normal FedEx carrier. And save that. There's no need to go to the picking to change the carrier. You can edit it directly on the RMA, so you don't need to jump around a lot, and it will change it on the picking itself. That's all I've got. Any questions?
Can we avoid using the carrier, for example, if the person like delivered back himself, you know, like bringing their stuff to the office?
You mean not have a carrier on it? Yeah, I believe that you can. You just wouldn't select. You wouldn't have. You would just remove the carrier. Or you would have your template not have a carrier on it, and then when they go to validate the transfer, you don't have to have a carrier. That's not a required field. Yeah. Any other questions? I answered all of your questions. Perfect.